Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving my thoughts on a very important character from the Walking Dead comic book series that's pretty much guaranteed we should be seeing this upcoming season, referring, of course, to the Walking Dead Season 5. Going to be answering the question, who is Douglas Monroe? All right, good stuff. In addition to that as well, we'll also be talking about who I think should play him, and it's pretty much for me a no-brainer, but it's kind of a wish type thing. But anyway, we'll get to that afterwards. So I'll put the link in the description to his Wikia page, so you guys can basically read up on him if you want to know a little bit more about Douglas from what I'm going to just basically go over here. And essentially, who he is he is the person or the leader of the Alexandria Safe Zone. So essentially what happens is, at least this is the comic book series, possible spoilers for the TV series and some for the comic book series. If you guys are worried about that and you just don't want to know, then, you know, I'll try not to give away too much, but the general storyline basically goes like this. So spoiler warning. I'm assuming after Rick's group is finished with the whole Terminus situation, maybe we have one or two character deaths or whatever happens there. Then they essentially hear what Eugene and Abraham have to say, and Rosita too, what their group is all about, what they're doing, and they head towards Washington, D.C. on this mission, so to speak, that essentially Eugene is needed there to help out with the whole zombie infection thing and knowing what caused it and knowing how to stop it. So essentially they head out on their way there, and along the way they run into a couple characters from the Alexandria Safe Zone that basically are scouts that go out and find other groups that can join the community, that can join the Alexandria Safe group or Safe Zone. So this group has roughly, I think it's around 50 people or so, something like that. And it's pretty well fortified. They have pretty solid gates they've created and walls that they've used with construction crews to build. It's a sizable community, probably the biggest we've seen in the Walking Dead TV series once we get there. I'm assuming if they go along with the same thing that they did in the comic book series. I want to say it's a little bit bigger than Woodbury. Woodbury was a pretty good size, but I want to say it's bigger than that, with actual construction crews building big girders and things like that to keep walkers out aside from their main gate. So in addition to that, they have basically a lot of people there that have trades or have skills, and essentially they have begun to rebuild what they consider to be a small society where everyone has jobs to do. They're led by a guy named Douglas Monroe, who we're talking about here basically. And basically who he was a former Democratic Ohio U.S. congressman, so he's basically was in politics before. And he by himself is not much of a tough survivor that will fight his way through zombies, or at least he wasn't in the comic books in terms of what we got to see from him. But basically his strength was that he was able to take a lot of different people, combine them together, be their leader, and essentially give them different roles, give them different jobs to do to keep the community going. So this was his approach to it. Kind of similar to what they had going at the prison in the TV series with Rick. He'd be farming with Herschel, the others would be doing other stuff, but more specified than that, even to the point where they would have like kids going to school where they would learn. They'd have a teacher that would go through a lot of things with them, and they would have construction crews. They would have like a lot more elaborate than what they had at the prison, which was pretty small scale. Scouts to go out and find others. And essentially what they do is they go out and they find other groups. They bring them into the Alexandria Safe Zone. With Douglas's strategy is to increase their number to add more skills to that group. So, for example, Rick was a police officer, so Douglas sees him as a good person to enforce the rules or enforce the law between people in the community, because you've got a good sized community now, right? He'll see Michonne, who was a lawyer, and she could possibly kill walkers with a sword. So her job might be to go out there and do that, or work on construction or whatever. One of the things he likes to do, because he's in charge, he can kind of do, he basically invites people in, he interviews them, and then he either allows them to join, or who knows what they do if they don't allow them to. I guess cast them out, possibly kill them. But our general direction with this is that the characters in Alexandria don't really seem that tough for the most part, if you get what I'm saying. They let people in, but they're not really that great at dealing with other people. They just haven't run into someone like the governor, who would take them all over, basically. At this point, Rick's group is the first kind of survivors they've met out there that have dealt with other groups like the governor and people like that, and have kind of really survived on the road for a long time. The others have been inside this with, I believe, running water and some electricity for at least a little while, I believe, with the generator. So they're living pretty good in a zombie apocalypse. And basically, so Douglas is the leader of that. Now, I don't want to give away too much of what happens with him or, all the details about that, but he does have a wife. Her name is Regina, and he does have a son named Spencer. Also, there's another character named Peter who is a doctor in the comic book series, and essentially he's crazy, beats up his wife. Rick becomes a cop, has some trouble with him, and Douglas and Rick have a weird type relationship. It's kind of a love-hate type relationship. Douglas sees him and all of his skills as very useful and a great leader, maybe a better leader than himself because of what he's seen out there in the world of what people can deal with or what people would have to deal with. And they kind of go back and forth on, okay, they're good with each other, and then they're not. And the same type of thing as maybe what happened with Shane, just without Laurie being involved. Back and forth and struggle for leadership, I guess, kind of thing, where Douglas even questions himself and sees Rick as possibly a better leader. So without giving away too many spoilers of the story, if you guys want to hear more about it, of course, read the Walking Dead comic book series. This is I believe he's introduced issue 70. And he is I shouldn't get into that. Careful with the wiki too, because it will kind of give away what happens with him. So I screwed that up. Anyway, I'm not reshooting it. So basically, that's who he is. That's what he's about, and he is a really cool character. It's different to see a kind of political leader type character that really 100% survives off of the strength of others and creates these kind of macro strategies to have other people come in and defend him so that he himself doesn't really have to do much. He's not like Rick where he gets out there and starts shooting and goes after, Daryl and Glenn and whoever's trapped, like Glenn and Maggie when they were at Woodbury, who gets into it. Douglas isn't that type of character. He's more of a mastermind type character where he doesn't really use his hands much to do much of anything, really. He uses other people to do it. So he's a cool character, and who should play him? Of course, you guys know it. Brian Cranston would be amazing in this role. Well, he's amazing in every role. In fact, I want to see Godzilla because he's in that too. But man, isn't it funny? Like look at them, right? Look at their faces. Look at just the way they look, and tell me he is not like the spitting fricking image, like real life image. Even the creases on the head and like these. Look at the creases. You see the crease? Oh man, he's like the spitting image of Douglas from the comic book series. And he's such a great actor. They could actually expand on the role even further, maybe do some flashback sequences of how Alexandria was built up, and really spend some more time with him if they had a great actor like Brian Cranston. That said, that's who I think should play the role. Willie? No. There's no way. Honestly, he's probably too good for it. He's too high profile. He would cost too much money, even though I think he might be interested in playing a character in The Walking Dead, because I'm sure he likes The Walking Dead. He knows what it is because it's on AMC and he's talked about it in interviews and stuff. But personally, I don't think they would be able to offer him enough, and because he's in movies now and everything, and he was getting a lot of money for Breaking Bad. I think it was like almost $300,000 an episode. So what would they be able to pay him for a role like that in The Walking Dead? It wouldn't be much. So that's unfortunately just wishing and dreaming and hoping and praying. It won't happen, but it would be the coolest thing ever if they could get him to do it. They could even turn him into a bigger character than he really was. But anyway, wishful thinking. It's not going to happen. Let's just put it that way. I wish it won't happen. That said, also there's Mark Strong, another great actor. He was in a lot of different shows. He was on Low Winter Sun. He was in Kick-Ass. He's been in so much stuff. And I think he's got a decent likeness to him. He was also, Low Winter Sun was an AMC show. So you know how AMC sometimes they like to use the same actors in different shows, like Lenny James, Low Winter Sun, Walking Dead. And there's been others too that have crossed over from different shows on AMC. So definitely he would be a good choice, I think, because we're not going to get Brian Cranston, pretty much guaranteed. So he's not a bad choice. But in reality, it's probably going to end up being some nobody or hardly somebody that hardly anybody knows, cheap actor, maybe English, who knows, because they seem to like English actors for some reason for The Walking Dead for almost every role. Nothing against English actors. I'm English, so relax. But You guys know what I'm saying. They pick a lot of English actors. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about Douglas, what you remember from the comic book series, what you expect to see in the TV series. He's a big character. He's an important character, and I do this for pretty much every type of character before they show up in the TV series. I go ahead and do videos, give my thoughts on them, letting you guys know what you can expect to see upcoming season. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Alexandria this season. I'll talk about it in another video, but it's pretty much guaranteed. 16 episodes. The Terminus thing probably won't last that long. Yeah, we should see it this season, late this season, halfway to late season 5, I would think. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a different video. Let me know what you guys think about Douglas, and let me know who you think should play him. And that's all I got to say, so I'll call it here. I changed my outro. So if you guys like the video. If you want to support the channel, please favorite it. Please share it on Facebook. And now I'll call it here. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you for the next one. This is Trev, as always, saying peace.